What's up everyone, welcome back to the second Q&A of 2018. I'm here in Antigua. I'm staying at a resort because we're part of a little conference here. So yeah, I asked these questions on Twitter. If you don't already follow me on Twitter, then go and check that out. The link is in the description below. Every so often I'll just ask about Q&As and also post whatever I'm feeling at the time. Yeah, I love Twitter. Twitter's a lot of fun. Do you travel with a laptop or iPad for your photography in case you need to back up things? So I only travel with a laptop. I don't actually have an iPad. I'm looking to get one, but I would pretty much still always have a laptop. It's just more powerful. You can do more things with it and back up and import and edit when I need to. When you pitch an idea or are invited to some event, are you and Elly a package deal, or do you tend to have just one of you hired and then the other has to pay the normal fare to tag along? So there are times where through this channel, companies might reach out and you can sort of tell if they're reaching out specifically for just one of us, and in which case it's kind of like it makes sense to just have one. But there are also times where you're working on a project where you definitely do need two people. It just makes it that much easier to get the content that you're looking to create, in which case I would generally pitch back and say that, you know, we work together, we're a team. The reason that we're able to create the content we do make is because the two of us are together. Generally speaking, businesses understand that and they are more than happy to pay not only the fee for creating the content, but also all the travel expenses and everything to make it happen. Any plans to visit Switzerland? I would love to go to Switzerland. In fact, on this particular trip, I've met Kim Lundberger from Switzerland, so hopefully we can go and shoot some images when she's back there sometime later in the year, maybe? If you can see all the way back there, Shu is currently looking for us. He's like a lost baby. Shu! Do you find cities have different responses to photographers? I always find people in certain parts of London can be twitchy about people taking photos. However, other parts, people are super chill about it. I was wondering if Japan is similar or are people more open? So Japan is definitely very open and used to people having cameras about. They're obviously used to a lot of technology flying around, and you know, things like a gimbal, for example, is very common to see, so people aren't really kind of nervous about seeing cameras around. That being said, if you are going to take pictures of people, I do always like to acknowledge them and make sure that they are comfortable doing it. I think it just is a nicer experience on both ways and you just get a nicer image. It's just the way I like to work. Other places around the world, of course, it can be different. I actually struggle to do this in London. I think it's because subconsciously I know that I'm local, and I think, does that come across that people also know that I'm local rather than a tourist? I don't know. But yeah, it's just funny. It's always hard to make content in your home place. Elly, there's a question here that involves you. Saying, so it's a three-part question. How long have you been doing photography, and is it a career for you or more of a hobby/fun for both you and Elly? Why did you start a YouTube channel, and will Elly participate more in future vlogs, i.e. talking, giving her own opinions, tips, or is she not that into talking in front of the camera? So I can say that Elly right now is off camera because she's always like, no, I don't want to be in front. But you are getting better, aren't you?
I've vlogged a bit more.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say...
So on this trip, we've been vlogging more on the Jelly Journeys channel, and there's kind of a bit of a backlog with that, and it's always hard to know how to edit those together because we like to keep them raw and informal, but sometimes they can be like way too raw and there's literally no opening, no ending to it. So if you enjoy that, then do subscribe to that channel. There's videos pretty much about anything. It's just kind of like an extension to this channel, I guess. Yeah, you'll find Elly on the Jelly vlogs, like more open, I guess. Yeah, you're allowed to talk on this one. I don't feel like you have to hide. Photography's kind of become like a fun sort of job, so it's still very much like a hobby to some extent. I'm not working with that many paying clients. I'm quite fortunate that this channel has grown to a position where that can now be my main income, and I can actually work almost like an artist where I'm creating stuff for myself and my own briefs and working like that. So it's a good place to be, and I'm happy with the way it's gone. When you shoot videos for a travel video sequence, how do you choose when to shoot and how long to shoot, unlike taking a photo? A lot of people actually ask this. It's kind of like how long do you shoot for? Like, do you shoot everything? Do you just continue to shoot, or do you kind of like start and stop? And you sort of over time find your sweet spot of when you know when you're over filming and when you're under filming things. Generally speaking, if I'm taking a static shot or something, I'll always try and get at least 10-15 seconds of that view, and then make sure that I'm very stable before I start and very stable when I end. That way you really minimize what you need to chop off top and tail, and you've just got like a good solid amount to work with. When it comes to actually putting it into video, you may only use 1 or 2 of those seconds, but at least you've got, 5 times the amount that you need to make it comfortable when you come to edit. How do you get over the fear of awkwardness of vlogging in public, especially with a large camera like yours? I actually find a large camera kind of helps because you can sort of hide behind it a little bit. I guess the main thing is just with time. Like, it just takes a long time. Just the more frequently you do vlogging, the easier it becomes. There are times when I maybe won't vlog for like 3 or 4 weeks, but I've got enough film to go and edit in my backlog. And then when I come back to do it again, I'm like, whoa, this is a bit weird. So yeah, it just takes time, really. Someone's saying videos have become a little bit too camera specific with all angles, apertures, etc. Please make a regular travel video once in a while. That's something I've also been thinking of recently. See, I would like to incorporate more of the travel video vibes into some of my videos. I guess I just kind of got to a point where I was like, I really wanted to focus on some of the photography aspect, and then start the second channel which could incorporate more of the travel focus. There also just became this kind of weird space on YouTube sometimes where you tend to see the same videos over and over if there's no particular interest, whether it's like someone's got a fashion travel channel or a food travel channel. When it's just overall travel, it can be a bit repetitive when it comes into editing. So I like to kind of throw in a little bit more, but I hear you. I'm gonna throw in some more just independent travel stuff, not so much always photography. Now that you switched to Fuji and have a few trips planned, do you have any goals that you're looking to achieve over the next year or so? I do have a few goals. I've got a few projects that I've wanted to sort of fund and work on for quite a while now. So one of those is I'd love to get my images in more print things. So I'd love to, start working on some prints. I've always wanted to collect them into sort of like a coffee table book, more as just like a diary of the travels that we've been on. But at the same time, a lot of people have asked about that, so it could be something that could be released in the future. Video projects, I've been wanting to work on like some more higher level, almost going in the direction of, say, documentary style. So sort of taking the vlog aspect, but pushing it beyond just like a 1 or 2 person team, and just making something a lot more premium. So I'm working on a few ideas with that. Those are over the next, say, couple of years. And I guess it's just a case of constantly working on them and just eventually making a big start into it. Next question. How did you decide that photography was a career you wanted to pursue, and what was the first thing you did to do so? So photography started as a hobby, and I feel like this should be pretty much any career you go into. You should always work to do something that you love doing. So it started literally just by having a camera, playing around with it, and just experimenting more and more. This was like over 10 years ago, so I was reading a lot of magazines or checking forums and kind of like posting your images for critiques and stuff, before the days of Instagram and even before YouTube actually on some things. So yeah, the best way to really start with it is just always have your camera with you, and just let it develop and grow. Over time, you will always be looking back and thinking that your images used to be terrible, and then you'll think that this is now your best work. If you don't feel like that, then you're not improving. So that's always a good sign that you feel like your work is just continually changing and getting better. There's a few other questions in here that have been addressed in previous Q&A, so I'm just going to leave those linked in the description below. Shu, this one's kind of for you. Best places to see and eat in London?
Chinatown.
Chinatown? If you don't already, go and check out Shu's channel. You've got a video on like your best places to eat, haven't you?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Down in Chinatown is the best.
I will forward that on. Have you ever used an E-mount or X-mount adapter for your lenses? So I'm actually looking into some adapters that can put my Canon lenses onto my Fujifilm. There's a company called Fringer, and I think it's a very small team. In fact, maybe even just an independent guy. So you really have to pre-order them, and then he'll batch make them and send them out. I think they're about $300 US, but they look pretty great, and from what I've seen, autofocus works really well across them. So I'd be interested to get my Canon lenses on my new Fuji. If your cameras had names, what would they be? If I was to name my cameras, they would probably be like Japanese names, given that they're all made in Japan. I guess my big X-H1 can now be called Fuji-san, which is the sort of local name for Mount Fuji. You visited a lot of amazing places. Which countries or cities are on your wish list of places to visit and why? So my top 3 has been very much set for a long time, and it's kind of now starting to fluctuate again. So Canada has been at the top of the list for a long time. Likewise, Taiwan and South Korea, which I believe I've mentioned in previous Q&As, maybe like a year or so ago. But now India has creeped into that. I'm really like wanting to explore more of India. I'd also like to explore more of South America. So perhaps places like Argentina. Yeah, I'm not sure. I also need to visit China. There's a lot going on in China that I want to be a part of. Shu, you want to take me to China?
Yeah. Go to Hong Kong first and go to Guangzhou.
Yeah.
Eat around.
I'd love to go back to Hong Kong. What did you want to do after high school? So I was very passionate about design at the time. I was also just getting started with photography when I was about 15 or so. So I was pretty much heavily set on the direction that I've kind of ended up in, which I think has been a huge sort of benefit. I'm quite fortunate I've known what I've wanted to do. I really feel for people who struggle to know where they want to go or what they want to do, but it comes with time. You just have to work on it and keep digging away on different passions until you find the one that sticks. Besides Japan, where is your favourite place in the world to photograph?
London.
No, not London.
Hong Kong. Sorry.
Hong Kong, I think, definitely. Actually, Hong Kong and Macau. Yeah, the day that we spent in Macau a couple of years ago was one of the most inspiring days. It was also one of the coldest days we spent traveling. And that was also one of the first sort of vlogs of this style, the style that I'm kind of making now. It sort of inspired the future of that channel, or of this channel, I guess. Yeah, Hong Kong, Macau. Right, final question, because we've run through quite a lot here. Sorry if I haven't answered all of them, by the way. Final question, do you think sticking with the same haircut has been the reason for your current success? Sure, yeah, I'd say that's definitely it. I'm all about consistency. Right, that was a very quick Q&A. Thank you for sending in your questions. Hopefully you enjoyed that aspect. I want to do these more frequently throughout the year, so keep an eye on my Twitter and YouTube notifications when I ask the next round of questions. And yeah, if you haven't already, then subscribe to my channel and check out all the other videos that we've been making in Antigua. We've been collaborating with a few other people, working on a few other channels, so it's been a lot of fun meeting loads of creators and got a few other trips planned. But by the time you're watching this, probably already done it. So yeah, staying up to date is kind of hard, but I love it. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.